and set of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
At California Psychics, we know that when you haven't found love, it feels like everyone else has. Every movie has a love interest. Every song is a love song. Where are all the songs about cats? Well, the joy of early bedtimes. And of course, the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to help you find the one. We connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So you could be feeling all lovey-dovey real soon. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Looking for the perfect place to unwind after a busy day? Avon Old Farms Hotel and the Simsbury Inn have dining options to match your every mood. At Twiggs Lounge at the Simsbury Inn, good times are always on the menu. Join us for happy hour Monday through Thursday. From 4 till 6, we feature live music Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. If brunch is more your vibe, join us on Sundays for our award-winning brunch at Evergreens Restaurant. Each week, 11 a.m. till 1:30. Twiggs Lounge and Evergreens Restaurant, nestled in the heart of Simsbury at the Simsbury Inn. If you're looking for a dining experience that celebrates the flavors of the season, come to the Seasons Restaurant at Avon Old Farms Hotel. Every dish is crafted with fresh, local ingredients, inspired by the best of every season. Whether you're enjoying a cozy dinner or celebrating a special occasion, every meal is unforgettable. Join us Wednesdays for live music, Thursdays for trivia, or on Sundays for brunch. It's all at Seasons Restaurant at Avon Old Farms Hotel.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt.
Yeah, I was having a weird problem, Michael B. We're back
and
now.
Experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices. Just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-488-1329.
Here we go.
That's 800-488-1329.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
By the way, I apologize about the Facebook and the, all of the social media. But the video is back up. If you want to go to reeseontheradio.com to watch the show, you can. It is back up. For some odd reason, it was saying that some server issue was going on. But we fixed it, and I apologize. So if you want to join with the scallywags in the chat room, do that now, so I can take your comments in there. So just to recap, because I know a lot of people got here late, starting off, we do know that there is a second whistleblower for certain. By the way, I didn't say in the opening monologue that there may be a third. So you understand, there may be a third. For what reason these people are coming forward now, I do not know. but they are, and several people in the news media have contacted me. I'm in concert with them, talking to them. Our good friend Stephen Friend, former FBI agent and whistleblower. I want to give a shout out to him. And of course, my good friend Greg Dillon from the highly acclaimed book, Thin Blue Lie, An Honest Man versus the FBI, also assisting us in getting, in essence, getting the word out, getting this story covered. Because unfortunately, and this is because I've talked to people who were in the know, that this story is not being covered because there is I guess there's no other way to put it. And this is according to people who are inside these newsrooms coming to me, who are hamstrung in talking about what's happening inside inside Hartford, inside these, ivory towers. And, we talked about this and we scratched the surface. We talked all this stuff about how, the politicians and the elected officials and how all of them are insulated. They're treated like celebrities and the news media won't really criticize them because if you do, you don't get access. And it's not their job to get access. It's their job to hold these people to account. If they're supposed to be anything, it's not in bed with you. It's for them to fear you. Somebody asked me over the weekend in my many conversations about this, one asked me and said, if WTIC were to ask me to lay off, I would simply respond by saying, lay me off. I don't owe them anything. I don't owe them anything. Chris Murphy doesn't listen to this network. Chris Murphy doesn't listen to this show. His people might, but he doesn't. He doesn't care what I think. He doesn't care what my audience thinks. So I am not beholden to him. I'm beholden to the people who listen to the show, the ones who gave me a chance on this network for the moments that I was filling in for my, Labor Day stunts, from being here from, 11 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night. The people who gave me a chance, the people who reach out to me saying that they love the show, I owe them. I don't know any of these kids who may have been abused, but I owe them too. I owe the people who apparently, in this case, don't have a voice, and no one is giving them a voice. And if these allegations are true, there are people who are shutting them down. My ex-wife said to me over this weekend, how can a Latina woman cover up the abuse of Latin kids? And I said, I don't know. If indeed, again, these allegations, these are people who are coming forward. These are whistleblowers. These are their stories. They're the ones reaching out about this. They're the ones who either know or whether or not they got an axe to grind. But something's going on. And to be honest with you, I can't stand around and wait for everybody else to pick this up. I know people, and I said this when I first got here. What was the biggest argument everybody said when I first got here? It's like, Reese, the media never talks about it. The media never covers it. The media is always silenced about it. And what did I say? I said, to hell with them. If they won't cover it, you know whose side they're on, not on yours. But if these are special needs kids, if these kids aren't even important enough for the news media to cover. Look, those kids, say what you want about their parents who dragged them here. Say what you want about their status as legal or illegal. Say what you want. I'm with you. I totally get it. But they're children. And if those children are here, and those children are being preyed upon because they cannot speak up because of fear, that's far worse than egregious. It's far worse than criminal, okay? If these kids, if it's true that these people are abusing those kids, using them, the most vulnerable of any kid, because nobody's going to tell, That's a story everybody should cover. And anyone who doesn't is a piece of trash. Anyone who doesn't cover it, when someone comes to your door and says, hey, have you heard this story? And say it isn't juicy enough, screw them. You know who they are. Every person should be banging on the mayor's door. 12 emails were sent? Somebody comes to a school board meeting and tells that story, and people aren't banging on his door saying, what's going on? Instead, the response is, we don't get into employment disputes. This isn't an employment dispute anymore. This is an allegation of abuse on kids you claim, or you tell everybody in the news media, you're here to protect. According to Chris Murphy, they're the most important constituents of the Democrat Party. This is a one-party state of Democrats. And you're going to sit up here and tell me that you're going to push this off. Len Bestoff asked, sent a letter, sent an email to the mayor's office, and their response is, we don't respond to employment disputes. That's what your answer is? Oh, baby, we can see right through that. Everybody can. And you people on the left, man, seriously, I'm not even going to listen. This isn't even a I own you moment. I don't own you. I am not trying to own you on this. Here's what I'm saying. Find any other Democrat to support. Find them, get them, and put them in office. But these folks, they got to go. If this isn't a priority, if this isn't, remember, these are the ones who are pounding their chests on television, traveling all across the country, talking about they're here to protect those kids. I was an immigrant too. These are the most vulnerable people. They pick our crops and clean our toilets. Tell us what you really think of them. Tell us what you really think of them. If these allegations are true, this is the worst kind of slavery. And kids, man, kids. Even if it's all bogus, this is one of those things that you got to be breaking your neck to get to the bottom of. I don't care what side of the aisle you are. If you're listening to my voice and you can't stand me or the Republican Party or Donald Trump or whatever the case is, this is nothing to do with partisanship. But you could damn well bet there are going to be some people who take advantage of it. Not with all of that chest thumping. Not with A.G. Tong running around talking about how much he cares. No one's got a word to say about this. Every person should be getting on the phone and calling them right now. Yo, what's your word? What's the word on this? Hey, you got a statement about this? Hey, you got anybody getting to the bottom of this? Employment issue. It's embarrassing to watch. It's just embarrassing to watch. And I don't know. I was saying to myself, as I'm getting the word, just to give you a little context of what my wife and I were out getting Chinese food, what was it? Saturday night. And I get this phone call from somebody who needs to corroborate some of the stuff that I know versus the person that, this is the second whistleblower confirmation. And I get the phone call and I'm standing there and I'm hearing, and they're asking me because they need me to corroborate what they have been hearing from the second person. And I'm telling them the stuff that I know. I said, this is what I heard. This is what I have. And he goes, okay, good. And sharing information, saying, here's what I have. And they start running down the line of all this stuff, talking about moving teachers or moving whoever the perpetrators are from place to place inside the system. You couldn't believe I was in the middle of the street screaming, damn it, I knew it. Damn it, I knew it. Damn it. I knew it was the same thing. And I said to him, it's the Catholic Church all over again. The guy on the other line says, it's exactly what it is. And I said they'd. And of course, they're doing it to the most vulnerable because, again, who are they going to tell? Probably scared to death. Worried about mom and dad. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. So that's where we are. I got to get into, we've got a guest coming up at 4:05. We'll talk to her. We'll talk to Jill Kiddick. She's got a very harrowing story you may have heard back in 2018. She's a former Hartford police officer. We'll get her response to this and, of course, her own case and Tyree Smith's case. He is the individual, the cannibal who killed Angel Gonzalez. We'll talk about her ordeal with a mental patient and how that affected her and almost took her life. So we'll be back with that and much, much more. So stick around. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC.
It's no secret, the world is more expensive. But at Mitchell Auto Group, they have a solution. Mitchell Select. Hand-picked selection of affordable, high-quality pre-owned vehicles. Each one goes through a 150-point inspection, comes with a 12-month warranty. What does that do? It ensures reliability and peace of mind. Affordable, dependable. Mitchell Select has what you need. All you have to do is go to mitchellautogroup.com to explore the select inventory. Mitchell Auto Group, where value meets quality. And remember, folks, always drive safely.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck. My friend Phil has just completed week 3 of Awaken 180 weight loss. Okay, Phil, you are on vacation. You're in beautiful Florida this week, so there's no weigh-in this week. So how are you feeling?
Well, I actually did weigh in, but of course it was not with the Awaken 180 official scale. I called an urgent care. They thought it was kind of weird that I called to see if I could run in and weigh myself.
Wait a second, you called an urgent care facility just because you were excited to see if you were losing weight?
Yeah. And they thought it was a little peculiar, but once I got in, they were all smiles. And when I told them, thumbs up, I lost some more weight, they were very happy for me. And it was kind of nice, a nice feeling. And according to the scale, I lost 9 pounds this week.
Your ballpark number now that you're thinking is what in total?
I'd say 20, 21 or more. The weight just keeps coming off.
Phil is obviously thrilled with his weight loss, and I am happy for my friend. Now it's your turn. Call Awaken 180 Weight Loss today, 844-346-1800, or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
If you want jet, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Celebrate twice as much with NordVPN's birthday deal. Get 72% off and a coupon for up to 1 year free. Visit NordVPN and discover the benefits. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. Encrypt your online traffic. Reduce the risk of phishing, scams, and malware with NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro. Get the special birthday deal at NordVPN.com. Additional terms apply. NordVPN.
It's Reese on the Radio.
Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I know John from West Hartford's on the line. John, I promise you I will get to you in the next half an hour. If you want to call back, I promise you I'll take you first. when you come back. John is a Hartford school teacher who we're going to get to and talk to him about a situation he has with Leslie Torres Rodriguez as well. I do want to grab this. Lori, thank you so much, Lori L., for sending me this article. To give you a little background on this, and again, this is another sort of, let's just say, link in the chain in all of this. This is from an article from the Connecticut News Junkie, or CT News Junkie, from its education department. This story is from August 22nd of 2022. Let me read a little bit of it. Following an investigation into allegations that developmentally disabled child was mistreated by a paraprofessional who lacked training in a Hartford school, the district has agreed to take a corrective action. And Connecticut child advocate Sarah Egan said the incident underscores just how important it is to properly fund special education training to both school staff and parents. According to the letter dated on April 20th from the Office of Child Advocate to Hartford School Superintendent Dr. Leslie Torres Rodriguez, between September 2020 and February 2022, the OCA received multiple complaints about the educational programming being provided to a young child who was of elementary school age and diagnosed with autism. The child's name has been redacted from the OCA's letter and will hereafter be referred to as the child. And neither the school nor the paraprofessional who was subject of the allegations were named in the documents. The letter says that in December of 2021, the OCA had notified that there had been a DCF Careline report made against the paraprofessional assigned to work with the child as a one-on-one for as a 1-1 for allegations of abuse. Allegations included that the paraprofessional assigned to the child did not engage with the child and would scream at the child and was dragging the child by the foot across the floor. That she pushed on the forehead and had him get away from her. She yells and gets frustrated a lot. So these are abuse allegations that we've known of. And they come from these outside outfits outside of legacy media, as the CT News Junkie here is. So there's, again, something else going on. Now, could it be possible? This is 2020 to 2022. After this story comes out, now think about that. 2022. This all sounds crazy, but I think it's all connected. Someone had mentioned to me about these paraprofessionals. I don't know what, like I said, I don't know where to go. We don't know who's responsible. That part we don't know. The only way we're going to get is if people speak up. So we'll find out. But the only way people are going to speak out is if people start pressing. Put the pressure on. If the media is not going to do it, make sure that your elected officials do. Again, like I said, I don't care what stripe you are. This is something you know you need to put a stop to. And you have the power to do that. Demand an answer. Make them all come forward and say something. Let's get our first check of the traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. How we doing, buddy?
Reese, we're doing well. I hope you are too. Good afternoon. If you're heading into Hartford right now, 91 southbound, look for delays 33 down to 32 A and B. Northbound 91, just bunch it up a little bit as you move up on exit 24 in Rocky Hill for the Silestine Highway. After that, good ride up into Windsor. Westbound 84, a little tap of the brakes, Bulkley Bridge to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound slowing about a mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291, 384 okay east of the river. 2 eastbound moving well Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. Waterbury's looking okay. If you're traveling down in toward New Haven, 91 in the Parkway moving well. And we do have a road closure reported in Cromwell. Route 99 is shut down at Evergreen Road because of a car versus a utility pole accident there with one vehicle involved with that. So that roadway shut down until further notice. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, the rest of our Monday afternoon, sunny but chilly with a high of 34. Then tonight, under partly cloudy skies, cold, the low dropping down to 22. Now, Tuesday, it'll be milder for us. We'll get some sun early before it turns cloudy, but the high moving up to 48 for the day. Tuesday night, partly cloudy, not as cold with a low down to 38. Then Wednesday, increasingly windy, will continue to warm up a bit, though we'll have periods of rain and a thunderstorm, and some of those storms could produce locally damaging winds. The high of 54 during the day on Wednesday. Still windy in the evening, cloudy and mild with the rain tapering to a couple of showers, then the low dropping down to 48. Then Thursday, some sun, but a shower or two. Breezy in the afternoon, milder with the high jumping up to 57. Then Friday, windy and cooler with sun and some clouds, the high down to 42, and it's going to feel like it's in the 30s with that strong westerly wind throughout the day on Friday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood.
Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
4 o'clock, Hartford temperature 35 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Governor Lamont is dueling with fellow Democrats over funding. He's issued line item vetoes, striking down $40 million for special education and $3 million for nonprofits. Lamont says the spending would vault the state over its spending cap for the current fiscal year.
You got to start with an honestly balanced budget, and I'm not going to compromise on that. That's been my North Star for 5 years. We've done it, and I think it's made a difference.
Now, saying towns are facing deep cuts to services for children, Democratic lawmakers say they'll consider overriding the special ed veto. Republicans could join them. Both parties voted overwhelmingly to approve that spending. Lamont was back in Hartford after a trade mission in India. He came back with a broken left arm after slipping in the shower there. President Trump spoke today about that shouting match that erupted in the Oval Office on Friday between him, Vice President Vance, and Ukraine President Zelensky.
Well, I just think he should be more appreciative because this country has stuck with them through thick and thin. We've given them much more than Europe.
Europe rallied around Zelensky over the weekend, promising continued support.
This country really was like the fence on the border. It was very important to Europe, and I'm not knocking Europe. I'm saying that they were a lot smarter than Joe Biden because Joe Biden didn't have a clue. He just gave money hand over fist.
Trump says he didn't think the minerals deal with Ukraine was necessarily dead. There have been rallies by federal workers around the country decrying job eliminations as the Department of Government Efficiency moves to shrink the size of the federal government. That includes NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
No matter what you do to erase climate scientists, the climate isn't going anywhere.
CBS's Rob Marciano.
What they're most concerned about really is what does this mean for predicting weather, for climate change. Some of the cuts are going to impact people like engineers and techs that maintain some of this vital equipment, the satellites, the radars that will deliver some of the life-saving warnings that go out to the public.
There were gatherings outside the Veterans Hospital in West Haven today. More than 1,000 have been laid off at the Department of Veterans Affairs. Jeffrey Stewart with AFGA Local 6874.
My job is not on that exemption list, so I am affected 100% by that because all of my monies as a disabled veteran come from the federal government. So I'm nervous, along with everyone else, to see if I'm still going to have a job come March 14th.
Audio from WFSB. Get ready for spring and summer construction on state roads and bridges. That's the message from the Connecticut Department of Transportation. Over 500 projects either in the planning stages or about to get underway or that are already in progress. DOT Communications Director Josh Morgan says one of the biggest and most time-consuming projects is in Meriden at the I-91, 691 Route 15 interchange.
That one's going to be going for at least another 5 years. It's a 3-phase project, but there's projects like that one, 7 or 8 years, $500 million, and then we have other projects that are 1 or 2 construction seasons, maybe $25 million.
Other construction sites are in Hartford, Middletown, and in Waterbury. Jimmy Johnson has announced his retirement from Fox Sports after being part of its NFL coverage for over 3 decades. The 81-year-old made the announcement today. He says he had been thinking about retiring for about 4 or 5 years. Says he'll miss the people he's worked with and called it a great 31-year run. Johnson, of course, worked alongside Kurt Menefee, Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, and Michael Strahan. As a coach, he won back-to-back Super Bowls with the Cowboys in the mid-'90s and the College Football National Championship with Miami in 1987. Closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. It's been an ugly day on Wall Street. The Dow down 649 points. NASDAQ down 497. S&P down 104 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Life insurance. Why are you...
Oh, a minute.
Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Thinking...
Jill is the guest, right?
Excuses for putting off life insurance.
Yes.
But if you weren't...
All right, cool. Yeah.
Pay the mortgage and other bills. With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818.
Here we go.
800-215-6818.
It's Reese on the radio.
And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We've got traffic and weather coming up on the 8th here on News Talk 1080 WTIC. And we've got following that weather with Jason Caterina. So stay tuned for that in a couple of minutes. And then after that, we'll be speaking to our guest, who is Jill Kiddick, former Hartford police officer. Jill Kiddick. I'm excited that we were able to get, he's pretty much my only liaison. Our good friend Mark in West Hartford to set that interview up. She is a timely interview today when talking about Tyree Smith, the cannibal killer of Angel Gonzalez. And Jill Kiddick's story is harrowing and very similar to that story involving Angel Gonzalez. We'll get to that shortly. The question of the day is, and we'll be taking your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. The question of the day, what do you think that we can do as citizens to make sure that people know that this is going on? What are some of the efforts that we can make? Because I know we can make phone calls to the, cows come home. The only thing that I'm trying to do, and I said this before, I'm going to make this very clear on this subject. This is not about gaining, I don't need any eyes trained on this show. I don't care. This show speaks for itself. We are who we are, and we're always going to be who we are. I don't want anybody having to write, well, thanks to the good work of Reese on the radio, that this, no. Thanks to the good work of all of us, citizens in Connecticut, who brought attention to this, brought the perpetrators to justice, and got it to stop. And now we recognize why it's important to know who the people are who are in this country, be they legal or illegal. And if they truly care about people being able to report stuff to police, we need to make sure that those people do report it to the police. And we don't have city officials keeping them from doing just that. So, like I said, Jason Caterina is coming up with the weather, but now we go to Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Traffic Center. How we doing, Mark?
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon. If you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B. If you're northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up in Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing east Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound some delays approaching 46
Stop voting Democrat
Sisson Avenue
indeed, Jason.
to the Bulkley Bridge. Looks good. 291 384 2 eastbound's okay. Glastonbury to Marlboro. Middletown, a little slowdown at the Aragoni, quiet. Waterbury, 84 and 891 in the Parkway, moving very well down toward New Haven. Road closure right now in Cromwell. Route 99 is shut down at Evergreen Road because of a car versus utility pole accident there. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Partly cloudy, cold tonight. The low down to 24. It'll be milder Tuesday with clouds and sun. The high of 48. Clear early, then increasing clouds Tuesday night, the low 37. Wednesday, it'll be increasingly windy, periods of rain and a thunderstorm. Some of those winds could be locally damaging, the high 54. And then Thursday, some sun, a shower or two, breezy and mild, the high of 57. Currently, it's 32 in Waterbury, Danbury at 36, Bristol 34, and 35 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
For quality vinyl siding, the Peter L. Brown Company is your best choice. Let us show you the difference a beautifully installed Peter L. Brown vinyl siding job can make. Please visit peterlbrown.com for roofing, siding, windows, and doors.
It's Power Torque Tools DIY Days at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Save $20 on a Power Torque 248-piece mechanics tool set. Power Torque professional hand tools have a lifetime guarantee, available only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
If you've been injured, you deserve more than what the insurance company offers you or thinks you're worth. When you get Carter, we'll help you get more. More experience, more attention, and more accessibility. People who hire an attorney get 3 times more on average compared to what big insurance offers them. Their job is to get you to take less. Ours is to get you more. If you've been injured, call the Carter Mario Law Firm at 877-GET-CARTER or head to getcarter.com. to get more.
If your air conditioner and furnace are over 10 years old, they've pretty much gone to the dogs. But at Ayala Home Services, we can fetch you a free furnace with our 2-for deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a new air conditioning system, you receive a free furnace. We also offer free, no-obligation estimates for these new systems. Call, click, or text and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P1027768AD, D1040145, E1185643, S330869, HIC 628926, SM30044646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss. The quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for... Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Yeah, we're going to get into that, Bozo, real quick. Today, we've got a lot of details about him with regards to Volodymyr Zelensky. We'll talk about that much later. And I hope Mike is listening, the liberal who called in last week. I hope he's listening. I got some great European audio for him because he's so concerned about Europe. But I want to get to our guest, who I'm very proud to. I don't know this woman. I've never met her, but I've spent the entire weekend learning a little bit about her story. And I have to admit, I don't know what I would do in a situation like hers, but I guess being a Hartford police officer, you probably learn in situations like that not to panic. Let's give it up to former officer, Hartford police officer Jill Kiddick, who's on the program. Thank you, Jill. I appreciate it. If I may call you Jill, unless you want to be called Miss Kiddick.
No, thank you. Jill's good.
All right, Jill. Jill, a lot of people here in Hartford know your story better than I do. But for those who do not, if you'd like to recap it, this when did all of this take place with Augustine? Was it Augustine, her last name?
Yeah, Siobhan Augustine.
Siobhan Augustine, right?
May 17th of 2018. I went to a call that was really a routine, never use that word, routine call that I could clear off the screen at 9:30 in the morning. And she had taken a piece of paper off a community board and the management wanted somebody to tell her not to do that. And I thought, well, I can handle that by myself. And it turned into a life or death situation when I was getting her ready to go to the hospital. She was volunteering to go. She wasn't going to be committed. She was getting her shoes and jacket on after a nice conversation. But then I asked for her identification, and she did not want to provide that to me at all. And I didn't know why. And I finally said, I know it must be here, but if you're not going to provide it to me, I'm just going to secure you in handcuffs for your safety and mine. You're not under arrest. And she turned, and it was not the same person. Her eyes were different, and we started to tussle. She grabbed a purple Kuznar knife after we fought, and she dragged me into the kitchen, which is where the door to the apartment was. She got the knife out, let go of me. I ran.
Wow.
And she knocked me out cold at the threshold and stabbed me in the back of my neck and continued to stab me until two maintenance men pulled her and the knife off of me.
Holy
That's
moly.
kinda...
Now tell us a bit about what's Augustine's first name?
Siobhan.
Siobhan. Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. So the reason why this story is so relevant is because apparently Siobhan has a history of mental health issues. Is this correct?
Correct. Yes, she was being seen, lack of a better word, civilly for schizophrenia and was medicated and had significant weight gain due to that, which is a side effect.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore she stopped taking it. And she says that she stopped about 2 weeks before she decided to try to decapitate me.
Wow. Now, Siobhan Augustine, if I'm reading this correctly, was, I don't want to use the word incarcerated because that's not what it was. Was she in a facility before?
No, she actually worked for Hartford Healthcare. She was an analyst. She has a college education. She had a good job. She had a very nice apartment, a boutique apartment building in downtown Hartford, but she had recently lost her job and was spiraling, I think, due to her non-compliance with medications.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know that if we opt to get help and we don't follow through with it, nobody has a responsibility to follow up with us. So nobody obviously did.
Okay.
And
And there's no warning, of course, in that situation. You know nothing about that background. And so you're meeting that person for the first time. You're trying to follow procedures, and this person, flips out on you. What's interesting about this story is 2018, she is, and according to the story, she is sentenced to 38 years in a maximum security mental facility, correct?
So we can't use the word sentence because
my
she wasn't
apologies.
convicted.
That's correct.
We have to be politically correct. It actually was not until August of 2021 that she was committed. To
My apologies.
Yeah. She was not, because once you have to be found guilty of the crimes
Mm-hmm.
put forth in front of the judge, and then you have to prove that you are insane or were at the time. And she was able to do that.
Right.
At that time, you're able to use the plea not guilty by reason of mental defect.
Okay. So, and her commitment inside this facility was for 38 years. Is that correct?
Yeah.
This is a maximum security facility. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Please tell everyone why you had to go back to court for Siobhan Augustine's, committal inside this facility for 38 years. Why were you called back to have to testify again?
Well, I have had to testify a few times because within 15 months of her being committed to the maximum security for attempting to murder me, she was downgraded to a medium called Dutcher. And what the public doesn't know is that when you go from Whiting to Dutcher, you actually eventually graduate to the point that you can be in your own custody on campus of Whiting, which everyone needs to know is not a fenced in. It's like a college campus. There's a bus stop.
Yeah.
It's wide open. And you also get to go on group field trips, supervised, to downtown Middletown or wherever they want to take you. I didn't know. I found out that she had that access after I found out that I no longer had a protective order. Because in the computer system, she is not guilty. She was not convicted. I am not a victim, supposedly.
We're on the phone with Jill Kiddick, a former Hartford police officer. She was nearly decapitated, killed by Siobhan Augustine in an encounter in 2018. Jill, break this down for me, because you said that within 15 months of a 38-year committal, right? Or commitment. 15 months, less than a year and a half. She was downgraded from maximum security to minimal security. You were not informed, or you had to find out in some other way, so you had to speak. Even though you came out, and apparently, according to the newspaper article I read, that they weren't allowed to do that without talking to you first, or at least your testimony. There was some article I read in, I think it was the Connecticut Mirror, that suggested that they weren't supposed to do that until you got an opportunity to at least make your case or plead your case that you didn't see fit for that individual to be taken from the maximum security to a minimum security. Am I correct there, or is that article wrong?
So no, it's not. It's not wrong. This was a part of a 2022 Senate Bill 450 that was unanimously voted into effect, that had everything to do with the PSRB. Went on and on about how there has to be a hearing for this, there has to be a hearing for that, and the very last thing in the law said that if the commissioner of the mental hospital or the care team, however they worded it, feels that the equity would do better being downgraded from maximum to Dutcher, that they can do that so long as they notify the board within 48 hours. And it effectively got rid of my right and the state's attorney's right and the board's right to have
any
a hearing.
Yeah.
Right. So, but it was still kind of complicated because they immediately transferred her after the law went into effect. It was 2 months later they moved her.
Right. I saw both articles. I saw the one article that said that it called for you to testify, and then another article that was 2 months later that said that they'd approved it anyway. That there was no stop. In essence, there was no stopping it. So when we
they'd already done it.
Right, they'd already done it. So according to this, I mean, if we're looking at your case, and then we're looking at the case with Angel Gonzalez, with Tyree Smith, which I'm sure you're following, this is par for the course in the, I guess, the mental health or mental health facilities, or I guess at least the cases that involve these mental health issues, that the bureaucracy is still going to treat these people like victims. To hell with the people who are actually being abused, if not killed, by these individuals.
Right. Yeah, and I want to make it clear that I do know that there's a wide spectrum of people that do get committed to the board, and there are plenty of people that could be rehabilitated that I've worked with in the last 6 years that they and we agree on everything if we're in a meeting, and it's funny to agree with somebody who gets it, but there are people in there that you cannot rehabilitate, and they are the victims of their own minds, and I am not.
Yeah, that's the part that I don't understand. I don't understand this by the board that makes these decisions. But in your case, and as is the case with Angel Gonzalez, we are talking about homicidal rage, which is what you endured. This wasn't a confusing, like there weren't mitigating factors to what Siobhan was trying to do to you. There were two people who pulled her off of you in the process of her continuously stabbing you. That was not to get you off of her. That wasn't to get you, keep you from restraining her. This is a woman who knocked you out, and after you were incapacitated, continued to commit an act that would take your life. So there's no 15 months in anybody's normal view, right?
No, absolutely not.
So what do you think, having sort of seen the story with Tyree Smith and Angel Gonzalez's case, are you just looking at this just going, par for the course, or what's your feelings on what took place there?
This is such a learning curve because everything with NGRI cases, DMIS, and the board is so complicated, and I feel like it's made that way so the public doesn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
But the public needs to know that Tyrese has been out in the community on temporary leave for about 2 years.
Really?
He's already been out. Yes. So there's a big difference between temporary leave, I guess, and the conditional release.
Conditional release, right.
Right. And before temporary, you also get more and more time in your own custody. You get to go, again, these field trips and whatever. It's a test to see how much you can be trusted. Can you behave on the bus ride to wherever their destination is? Can you handle your money properly?
So eventually the latitude becomes greater and greater, right?
Right. And the law says that the board shall, if the person checks off all the boxes, that they have done whatever they're supposed to do according to state statute, they don't have a say or a right to keep them from progressing because of their previous homicide.
Homicide, right. Do you think that this is as you brought up in the beginning of this conversation, is this the political correctness of the mental health industry?
I have a lot of respect for the fact that there are people out and about that maybe are not medicated correctly, have things that they don't have control over, and there's plenty of people that have schizophrenia that are not homicidal.
Mm-hmm.
And on one side of it, you have these people at the hospital and some people that were crazy about the Senate Bill 450 that we have to save the patients that have no real life experience or contact with the other side of reality that I had as a police officer and now I have as a attempted murder victim.
Your husband's still on the force, I understand.
Yeah, she is a state trooper.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I'm sorry. Your wife. I apologize. But somebody texted me and said her husband is still on the floor. I apologize. But congratulations to her. My apologies. My assumption was not with malice. I apologize.
No, he is a state trooper.
Oh, he is a state trooper. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You did say he. Woo. Okay. Good. All right. We'll send them our best. Look, we do have to go in a minute, but I want to give you an opportunity. What would be your advice to the public having to deal with this? Because a lot of people are asking, well, how do you deal with the fact that these conditional releases are clearly affecting you? How should everyone else? I heard, in fact, there was a story today that says that the family of Angel Gonzalez has gotten a restraining order against Tyree. What would you say to the average public under the circumstances if they, are nervous, concerned? What should they do without being paranoid?
I mean, I don't, I'm not, if somebody asked me, is this fear mongering? How do you know what's going to happen? And good for them getting the protective order. I'm glad that I was able to change that law.
Yeah.
But it was immediately appealed. So Siobhan Augustins and her lawyer, public defender, are appealing my right to a protective order.
That's insanity.
So you have to keep in mind, why are we trying to let them have access to the people that they've tried to murder or the people that they've traumatized, like Angel's family?
Yeah.
There's so much you don't know, and you got to look in. And the board is not the problem. I promise you, the board's not the problem.
Well, Jill, I appreciate you spending some time with us. As more is developed, I hope you'll come back on, and we'll sort of tweak your point of view or your perspective on this. I really appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you.
No problem. Jill Kiddick, everybody, former Hartford police officer. Let's get another check of the traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading toward Hartford and you're on the southbound side of I-91, just some slow traffic getting by 33 Jennings Road. Northbound 91, new issues, Cromwell up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing east Hartford. You approach the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you got delays approaching 46 Sisson Avenue into the Bulkley Bridge. 291, 384 looking good east of the river. 2 eastbound, no issues, Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. Waterbury's okay, 84 and 8. If you're heading down in toward New Haven, look for some slow traffic approaching the West Rock Tunnel down to 59. And 95 South New Haven slows 44 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, the rest of our Monday afternoon, sunny but chilly, the high of 34. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies, so it'll be cold, the low dropping down to 22 for us. A pleasant Tuesday. It will start out with some sun before it turns cloudy. It'll be milder, though, with the high moving up to 48 for us. Tuesday night, partly cloudy, chilly, but not as cold, the low down to 38. Then for Wednesday, increasingly windy, periods of rain and a thunderstorm, the high of 54. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
4:30 Hartford temperature 35 degrees under sunny skies. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Governor Lamont's vetoing portions of that $40 million package that came out of the legislature last week for special ed and some nonprofits. Lamont says he's worried about going over the spending cap. President Trump ticked off again by his Ukrainian counterpart. He slammed Volodymyr Zelensky for Zelensky suggesting the end of the war with Russia was still, quote, very, very far away. On his social media platform today, the president said that was the worst comment and that America won't put up with it for much longer. Teenager killed in a crash Sunday evening in Cheshire. Max Tello was 18. Police say he died when the car he was driving crashed and caught fire at Wolf Hill and Blacks Road. That crash, it remains under investigation. Democratic state representative suspended from committee and leadership activities after being arrested for DUI over the weekend. Groton Democrat Andre Bumgardner, arrested early Sunday, said in a statement he takes full responsibility for his actions. Norwalk's mayor has announced he'll not seek re-election. Harry Rilling is a former city police chief, spent over 40 years with the department, and says he'll not run for a 7th term as the mayor of Norwalk. Vatican says Pope Francis has suffered 2 new episodes of acute respiratory crises and has been put back on non-invasive medical ventilation. Wall Street, it was an ugly day for the markets. Dow down over 600 points. NASDAQ lost nearly 500. The S&P was down 104. NBA locals idle tonight. NHL, the Isles at the Garden to take on the Rangers. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Happy birthday to us. 2 surprises for you. 2 surprises from NordVPN. 2 surprises for you.
Celebrate twice as much with NordVPN. We have a special birthday deal. Get 72% off and a coupon for up to 1 year free. NordVPN is rated as excellent on PC Mag. Visit NordVPN.com and discover one of the most advanced VPNs in the world. What are the benefits? Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. Receive alerts if your email address leaks to the dark web. Reduce the risk of phishing, scams, and malware with NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro tool. Encrypt your online traffic and browse with more peace of mind. Get the special birthday deal at NordVPN.com. Additional terms apply. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Seems everything costs more.
1 minute.
Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Jackson Hewitt wants you to save money on tax prep. We're saving money by having our intern rap in this commercial.
Don't stress, Jackson Hewitt's got expert tax prep, 149 or less. Yo, some tax guys lie about price. They got hidden fees, that ain't nice. Ain't nice. Don't ignore MC Kevin's rhyme, cause this deal's for a limited time.
For tax prep that's $149 or less, hurry into Jackson Hewitt today.
No cap.
Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns.
Did he just say no cap?
He sure did.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I want to thank Jill Kiddick for calling into the program and giving us some update. I wish we could have had her on longer, but we'll have her back because we're going to get a whole bunch of stuff talking about that. I apologize. My phone is going off. When is anyone not calling me on the phone? This was, oh, yes, I'm sorry. I've got to go into this. How could I forget this?
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
What's the stupidest thing I read today? Well, you probably all read it. That's Boston Mayor, her theme song, Michelle Wu. Can you woo, woo, woo? Apparently, some guy ran into a Chick-fil-A with a knife, chasing people around the establishment in Boston. Thankfully, an undercover police officer saw that fool and said, "Put the knife down, son. Put the knife down." The moron refused, and of course, the police officer or off-duty police officer did exactly what he was trained to do. Put that animal down. That's right, put that animal down. That's what he did. I don't know how many times he fired, but pop, pop, put the animal down. Good guy with gun. But Michelle Wu, can you woo, 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 apparently is not wooing a lot of her constituents with her reply. And it wasn't just her. Apparently, other administrators, a lot of people from the administration held the same sentiment that she did.
My condolences and all of our thoughts are with the family of the individual whose life has been lost.
What? Yes, our condolences go to the family of the person who was wielding the gun trying to stab people. We send our condolences that a good guy with a gun shot him down like the dog he was. She wasn't alone.
Our thoughts and prayers are with the family and friends of the individual who's been lost.
Oh, the friends and the family. They've cast a wide net. Hey, any of you bozos friends with this lunatic? We'd like to send our condolences to you too.
So our condolences go to the individual who was killed tonight.
Oh, goodness gracious. We are so sorry we had to put him down like a dog. Like a rabid dog. We send our condolences out to his friends and family. We didn't want to have to kill him, but it left us no choice. That's the stupidest thing I read today. I think that may have been the stupidest thing I read this year. I mean, Boston has really become the Massachusetts. They've become the Dukakis state. They just have. There's all of them. I like to send a shout out to the guys who robbed the liquor store yesterday. Good on you. Destroyed another business. I'd like to also give a shout out to the people who have robbed the CVS so much that everything has to be behind a glass container. Yes, shout out, big up to you. I have to call an attendant to get a toothbrush now because of you. Big ups. Good work. Let's go to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Mark, have you been any place where you have to get the toothpaste behind a glass counter yet? Have you experienced that yet? Mark's not there yet. I'm
right here.
Mark, okay. Mark, have you been to a CVS or a Walgreens where you have to get something behind the glass counter? I know they do it with with razors and with like the shaving equipment that's behind the glass. I hate having to do that.
Hi, gentlemen at the checkout line. Need you to pull something out of the
birth control aisle.
Yes!
Please. You're standing there, and it's like all these old women are looking at you.
I'm
Like,
so glad I don't have to buy condoms.
what's this guy up to? Yeah,
That's
what you gotta
embarrassing.
You got to order that stuff online. if
Yeah,
you need it.
exactly.
You don't want to be standing there and there's nobody to help you. We need a little help on the contraceptive aisle. For the gentleman standing right in front of register 3.
I go in there and just buy whatever all the time, man.
You should just walk out of the store at that point.
Exactly. Just leave. Goodbye.
Just walk out. I'll find you somewhere else. If you're heading into Hartford right now, south of 91, you got delays 33 down to 32.
That don't bother me at all. I go and get all type of lubricants and everything.
Oakland Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue, 84 eastbound. Just losing some speed now. 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291, 384, okay, 2 westbound, 2 eastbound, moving well. East Hartford into Glastonbury. Quiet Middletown, quiet Waterbury. Southbound 95 New Haven slowing 44 down to exit 43 in West Haven. And if you are traveling right now into Cromwell, Route 99 shut down at Evergreen Road because of a car versus utility pole accident there. Traffic and weather together on the WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Partly cloudy, cold tonight, the low down to 24. It'll be milder Tuesday, though, with a mix of clouds and sun, the high of 48. Wednesday, increasingly windy, periods of rain and a thunderstorm. Now, winds could be locally damaging in spots with some of those storms, the high of 54. And Thursday, some sun, a shower or two, mild and breezy in the afternoon, the high of 57. Right now, it's 36 in Danbury, 32 in New London, 33 in Mansfield, and 35 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
At Columbia Dental, we love to make kids smile. Our expert pediatric dentists specialize in children's dental care, making every visit fun and comfortable. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
Dream it, design it, do it. The Connecticut Home and Remodeling Show is back March 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Connecticut Convention Center. From fresh trends to smart solutions, find everything to transform your home. Step inside, get inspired, and watch your vision take shape. Get your tickets now at cthomeshow.com.
Looking for better propane savings and services for your home? Go with your local propane pros at Petro. Switch now and get up to $500 free propane. Go to petro.com now or call 877-399-8395 today. Propane not available in all areas.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
When you
man.
Have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, I know you guys have been holding, so let's get right to the phones. John is back from West Hartford. John, what say you, sir? I know you've been dying to get in here. What's going on?
Well, I'm a recently retired Hartford teacher, and I can really feel for what Janet's going through because I myself was the subject of a witch hunt and had to sit through a kangaroo court. The only difference between her situation and mine is because I'm fortunate enough to have tenure as a teacher. She doesn't have tenure. If I didn't have tenure, they probably would have tried to fire me too for just answering a question about my opinion in a training. So,
wow.
But what doesn't make sense to me is this. If a teacher abused a kid, It doesn't make sense for that to be covered up because Leslie and her crew would be all over that and then step forward on center stage in the media to make herself look like the champion of kids, or as she put it, her beautiful and capable students.
Right.
This has to be something else behind that, because I know teachers who were actually lied about on abusing a kid and ended up being investigated and put on leave. So this really doesn't make any sense to me.
Talk to me about that. Talk to me about that, because, and I think that you and I are trying to sort of thread the needle of understanding the useful or the usefulness of the HR department and the secret if it's associated with abuse, right? I mean, I think that's where you and I are trying to like figure this out and why something doesn't seem right, something doesn't smell right.
Yeah, there's something added into the equation, because if it was a teacher doing that to a kid, they'd be all over it. So you may be on the right track with possible undocumented, or it could be one of their own ivory tower elites who's part of this too. So, what I plan to do is after this show is over, I'm going to give you a call.
Okay.
And I'm going to have some stuff to present to you, and you can take a look at it and possibly make it part of tomorrow's show if you like what you see.
Okay.
And add to this.
Okay. That's all I need. That's all I need to know. Thank you, John. Much appreciated.
All right, take care.
You got it,
All
sir.
right.
Let's go to, I want to make sure I get everybody in order who's on it. Fulton's in Waterbury. How are you, sir?
What's going on? How you doing today?
Pretty good, sir. What's up?
Call for the Harper cop. That's brutal. I mean,
Yeah.
Another brutal story. It's like another monster out there, another monster roaming around. Second thing, why was the one that got married in Iowa? Why was that criminal, but the one that did all the tipping? Why was that not? Why was that not for us?
I'm sorry. I missed the first part of your question. You said why was the person?
The one from UConn, the professor from UConn, was arrested for misuse of a credit card, but the Chinese guy wasn't for some reason. I don't understand.
Yeah, I think because there was an argument. There was an argument that he was paying the money back, and I think that there was no criminal charges filed, which again is another story in and of itself. Which is,
I mean, imagine if you used your credit card from work to do anything. I just that's insane. They would think you could even do that.
And we know, and look, and again, that's one of those things where, and I think in this case, which is kind of what we're dealing with, is whether or not the employer is willing to press charges, because they're the ones who have been harmed here, right?
Well, it's the state of Connecticut, right? Central Connecticut.
That's right. Now again, and what do you think that's not happening? And I think you and I are answering our own question.
I just want to say, why don't they audit everybody's credit cards? They should really do that. Maybe Doge or whatever should come in here. Agreed. But again, like I said, it's the insulation. Getting Connecticut, it's a joke. And honestly, if you add up everybody's time, what monsters are roaming around with us now, it's brutal for the Connecticut citizens.
Yeah, it is. Again, like I said, we can't leave it to, in what we're learning now, we can't leave it up to the mainstream news media to do it. It's never going to happen. Legacy doesn't care about this
We're on
stuff.
a race to the bottom of the barrel with like Massachusetts and California. Who can get to the bottom first?
Yeah, you're right about that. No, nice comparison. Thank you, buddy. James is in Plymouth. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, buddy. How are you?
Pretty good. What's up?
Hey, I think you have enough followers. Like that. Not just that call there. The caller that came in after break, the old teacher from Hartford.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have enough following to actually crack this case, and I think the exposure is going to be. I think your exposure here is wonderful. Honestly, I do. I want everyone to know. I wrote a big thing on Facebook as soon as I heard it, and I have 1,200 followers anyway.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to write another one tonight about Chris Murphy and his actions against our duly elected president. What he did yesterday, or this past week, Friday afternoon, with Zelensky, listen, that never happened before. Even with George Bush, they didn't, try to thwart and what do you? Well, I'm looking for the word here.
There's the level of brinksmanship. Yeah, and that's what it is. It's railroading the president of the United States and assisting Zelensky in doing so. But remember, James, I said it when I was talking about, like, it was happening right before, like it had happened before we had gone to air. And I was explaining to people that Zelensky being in a meeting with these so-called bipartisan senators and other legislators, I know, and in fact, Chris Murphy confirmed it the next day, if not yesterday, that they put a battery on his back and told him to deny that deal. Now, why would they do that?
I don't, because they're all afraid of if Donald Trump said the devil was a terrible person, these liberals would back the devil.
Well, we know that. Remember, he called
That's
MS-13.
how they are.
He called MS-13 animals, and Nancy Pelosi got on the national stage and said they're all God's children.
Oh yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah.
The thing is, all these rich liberals, these hypocrite Democrats, they're all very scared right now because of Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And they're going to go after how they made, like AOC, a bartender who ruined her bar because she wanted $15 minimum wage, and then the place that she worked at went under.
Yeah, that's par for the course.
$12 million.
Ask Amazon how they feel about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's business acumen.
Yeah.
Ask them; they'll tell you.
Can you imagine that? I have no understanding of how she just keeps getting voted in, or any of these senseless people. Honestly,
I think you just there.
man,
You go.
I don't get it.
You just like you like Fulton. I think you just answered your own question. Senseless people.
I did. Thank you, Reese.
You got it, buddy. You got it. Let's go to Mike in Plainville. How are you, Mike?
I swear to God, there's an invisible alien virus that's afflicting the Boston mayor.
Isn't that
Charlie
insane?
Baker. She insulted every police officer in uniform and in plain clothes by saying what she said. People are just so
siding with the assailant is again, and look, I said this before. Do you remember the story I told you about Rahm Emanuel and his son being held at gunpoint?
Yeah. I kind of remember.
Yeah, well, in Chicago, that happened. While he was mayor of Chicago, his son, Rahm Emanuel's son, was held at gunpoint, and Rahm Emanuel showed up to the court to give leniency to the man or the young man who tried to rob his son with a gun in his face, put a gun in his child's face. If there's ever a lack of confidence a child would have for his father, it would be in that moment. Now, and I'm not going to lie. The reason why, and the only reason why this resonates with me, Mike, is this scenario. And let me tell you exactly how it happened. My oldest sister, was walking through Hollis, Queens one day, and a man had catcalled her while she walked down the road. She came and told our stepfather that this man catcalled her. She pulled my stepfather, his name is Briggs. He was a former Golden Gloves boxer, and he was built like
he could handle himself.
He was built like a bulldog. Still is, to be honest with you. Built like a bulldog. He walked around the corner, and he found that man and said to her, he didn't even ask him. He said, "Did you say something to my daughter?" It was the first time my sister felt like she was his daughter. I mean, he's our stepdad. But she said in that moment, she felt like she had a dad. When he said, "Did you just say something to my daughter?" And he didn't even wait for the guy to answer, but he plugged him once. He clocked him straight in his jaw with a nice hook. And I saw that man hit the ground. We all looked at it and just said, at that moment, I knew you never, ever, when your child is concerned, you give no leniency to anyone. You hear these women talk about, I would die for my child. Not so much anymore. Not so much anymore.
The thing of it is, 95% of every police officer in this country and foreign countries go to work thinking about their family, their friends, their neighbors. And lady, you just insulted all of us.
All of them. Yeah, and I don't think she even cares. And she knows she's getting backlash.
She doesn't care. She has no idea what she's saying. These people's like Charlie Baker. He's in favor of having guys turn into women and participate in women's sports.
Isn't
Charlie,
it? It's crazy how this is.
Send Charlie to a regional high school, okay? Put him in a bathroom and have a couple of transsexuals start touching him and see what his reaction would be. Okay?
Gotta let you go, Mike. Thank you, buddy. Let's go with Simsbury Joe. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. So back in 2021, in CT News Junkie, there was an article talking about the Office of the Child Advocate in the state of Connecticut getting involved with the city of Hartford because of issues having to do with the restraint of special needs kids.
Yes.
And part of what came out of that was better training, blah, 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 more sharing of information with the paraprofessionals so that they know kind of what they're dealing with. And the person at the time, and she's no longer in that role, she's in a different different track, is Sarah Egan.
Okay.
And there's the Office of the Child Advocate is Christina Gio, spelled G-H-I-O.
Okay.
And she's an attorney, so she's the Associate Child Advocate, I believe. If I'm reading it correctly, she really runs that organization now. They're the ones, other than DCF, that should be getting involved with taking a look at this, because they're the ones that are responsible for overseeing and protecting children in matters related to special ed, child abuse, neglect, and mental health. So hopefully someone from that office is getting involved. And I have one question that I honestly don't know the answer to, and maybe one of the mandated reporters, like a police officer, teacher, et cetera, can call in. If I am a teacher and I'm a mandated reporter and I become aware of something, do I have to go and get permission to do my mandated reporting from my administrator, or am I legally responsible to make that direct reach out to DCF in that role? Because what we may find out, if it is that, well, you really don't dare, do it yourself, you got to go through channels, then we got an issue regardless, because that's got to be thrown out the window. The moment someone sees something, they've got to be able to say something. And if they're not able to say something and they've got to play the politics, then that totally defeats the purpose of protecting children, I would think.
Well, let's look at it this way. And I think we can almost parallel these two things. As a mandated reporter, I don't think that you have to go to what's called a protocol, right? To your higher up on this. If you witness that, and let's say you're under the impression that your higher ups will not report, or you're under the impression that this is going to be slow walked to a reaction, and you have an obligation to report because this is a child, and any delay will either cause more harm, if not more damage. I would almost treat them as you would a whistleblower. Now, having said that, I want you to also consider this, and this just came from a reporter who, again, I'm sort of in cahoots with, in the sense of getting this story out, and he and I are communicating back and forth with his source versus Janet and the other things that we're working out. He made a very, very good claim that goes right to what you're talking about. If these emails that Mayor Arunin has received, 12 folks, if indeed any of those emails, and I'll see if I can get them, maybe I can get one of them. If these emails in any way suggest that there was abuse in those emails, then that means that the mayor is supposed to immediately contact police. He is a mandated reporter. If he did not do that,
absolutely,
that's a problem.
Well, the other issue too is, let's assume that there is no allegations of abuse, because she did say, Leslie, I kept the secret.
Right.
Let's say that the mayor views it as just a personnel matter.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of mayor would not pick up the phone and say, hey, Leslie, what's really going on here?
Exactly.
This person keeps contacting me.
Right.
And if Leslie turns around and says, oh, there's nothing, and then either your report or the report from other people you're dealing with shows there was something, then there's some major issues going on.
There's the cover. That right there, what you just described, is the cover-up right there. You can't get right there. That's the ground floor of the cover-up. So we'll see. Like I said, we're going to go further and further into this, and FOIA requests are being sent all over the place from several reporters at this point. So Arunin, we'll see if they try to slow walk that. That'll probably only make it worse. Thank you, boss man.
Well, thank you.
You got it. Let's get another check of our traffic and weather with Jason Catarinas in weather, and of course, Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, buddy.
Reese, peeling back the onion. Folks.
Love it, man.
You never know what you're going to find under that layer. If you're heading into Hartford right now, West Bend 84 is tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue, 84 eastbound, slowing 46 Avenue into the tunnel, 91 southbound delays, 33 Jennings Road down to the 84 West merge. Northbound 91, good ride, Crumble up into Windsor Locks. 291, 384, okay, east of the river. 2 eastbound, easy ride, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 southbound's a little slow, Crumble, Middletown line down to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 moving well, downtown Waterbury, 84 and 8. If you're traveling into New Haven, 95 southbound, some slow traffic from 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, the rest of our Monday afternoon, sunny but chilly with a high of 34. Then tonight, under partly cloudy skies, cold, the low dropping down to 22. Now, Tuesday, it'll be milder for us. We'll get some sun early before it turns cloudy, but the high moving up to 48 for the day. Tuesday night, partly cloudy, not as cold with a low down to 38. Then Wednesday, increasingly windy, will continue to warm up a bit, though we'll have periods of rain and a thunderstorm, and some of those storms could produce locally damaging winds. The high of 54 during the day on Wednesday. Still windy in the evening, cloudy and mild with the rain tapering to a couple of showers, then the low dropping down to 48. Then Thursday, some sun, but a shower or two. Breezy in the afternoon, milder with the high jumping up to 57. Then Friday, windy and cooler with sun and some clouds, the high down to 42, and it's going to feel like it's in the 30s with that strong westerly wind throughout the day on Friday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 5 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Governor Lamont is taking the unusual step of issuing line item vetoes against spending plans led by fellow Democrats. He's targeting $40 million allocated for special ed as districts address rising costs. Republicans overwhelmingly agreed with that plan. Lamont is also striking down $3 million for nonprofits, which are facing federal cuts.
These are 12 worthy not-for-profits, 15 that said, I'm getting hammered by Donald Trump's DOGE cuts. I need help. You're going to have 12 more come up every week for the next 6 weeks. I don't think we're going to be able to make up all the cuts that DOGE is going to be inflicting upon states like ours.
Democratic lawmakers say they will consider overriding the special ed veto. Republicans could join them. Lamont says the spending would lift the state over its spending cap for the current fiscal year. Teenager is dead in Cheshire following a car crash on Sunday. They say 18-year-old Max Tello, the car he was driving, crashed Sunday night and burst into flames. That investigation is ongoing. Hundreds of federal workers have been protesting their firings today. That includes dozens at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, tasked with issuing weather forecasts and tracking storms.
NOAA is 12,000 experts here to help, to fly into hurricanes, to deploy underwater sensors, to train models predicting tomorrow or 2100.
Now, Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro was among over 100 who turned out to rally outside the VA hospital in West Haven earlier today.
Why are we going after our country's veterans? It makes no sense at all, except all of these cuts are to provide those tax breaks for the richest in the world, for the richest in the country.
Audio from WFSB. There have been 1,000 layoffs in the Department of Veterans Affairs. 3 people under arrest after police in Waterford say they got into a fight at a youth basketball game in town Sunday. Police were dispatched to Clark Lane Middle School on a report of a disturbance. 3 adult males, including 2 coaches, went into the stands to confront a spectator, according to police. That's when the fisticuffs broke out before all were separated by bystanders. 1 person was injured and required medical attention. All were charged with assault and risk of injury and released on bond. President Trump's tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China go into effect on Tuesday. The Premier of Ontario is promising a response. Here's Bankrate's Mark Hamrick.
Economists are concerned that this will lead to a bump in inflation at a time when so many people want to be relieved of inflation, but inflation has been very sticky, and there is a risk of a downside hit to economic growth.
Connecticut Department of Transportation putting the word out, expect numerous road and bridge projects to ramp up as we go through the spring and summer months. All told, there are over 500 projects of varying degrees of complexity. Among the biggest are in Meriden, the 691 Route 15 interchange, and the Dutch Point Viaduct in Hartford. The DOT's Josh Morgan.
If we can, we try to do it after the evening rush hour and before that morning rush hour to limit the impact on roadways. But, sometimes they're working during the day, sometimes they're working during night.
Morgan says regardless of the size and scope of the project, drivers will need to slow down through construction zones and plan accordingly to minimize any delays. And there's word this afternoon on the death of that seal pup that was found roaming the streets of New Haven last month. Mystic Aquarium says Chappie's health declined over the last few days and he passed away. The seal captivated the state when he was found by New Haven police last month. Officials at the aquarium say he had originally presented with kidney issues and dehydration. Wall Street, the Dow way down today, over 600 points. NASDAQ shed nearly 500, and the S&P was down 104. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck.
1 minute.
Just completed week 3 of Awaken 180 weight loss. Okay, Phil, you are on vacation. You're in beautiful Florida this week, so there's no weigh-in this week. So how are you feeling?
Well, I actually did weigh in, but of course it was not with the Awaken 180 official scale. I called an urgent care. They thought it was kind of weird that I called to see if I can run in and weigh myself.
Wait a second,
And
you
then,
called an urgent care facility just because you were excited to see if you were losing weight.
Yeah. And they thought it was a little peculiar, but once I got in, they were all smiles. And when I told them, thumbs up, I lost some more weight, they were very happy for me. And it was kind of nice, a nice feeling. And according to the scale, I lost.
What the hell?
Your ballpark number now that you're thinking is
What happened?
in total?
I'd say
Went to urgent care because he felt like he lost weight.
Obviously thrilled with his weight loss, and I am happy for my friend. Now it's your turn. Call Awaken 180 Weight Loss today.
Here we go.
846-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, I do have some breaking news on a personal level, if I may, right now, because I know we're dealing with a whole bunch of stuff, but I do believe in lightening it up when it's necessary. So I have two very important stories to bring in, and just on a lighter note, I just want to make sure that I break these important news stories that you care about. The first breaking news story is that Reverend Bacon and Eggs showed up at my U-Haul on Friday asking to rent a truck, and he had enough money to purchase and return the truck absolutely sparkling clean. And Reverend Bacon and Eggs also apologized. For those of you who don't know who that is the guy who I was going to Walmart, and then I was talking to him on the phone about public access television. And when he asked what Walmart I was at, he said because he wanted me to go pick him up some bacon and eggs and bring it by his house. And I told him no. Yes, he actually showed up, and he apologized. So I'm going to unblock him from my phone so we could go.
That's the trick.
Yeah, so he apologized. So that was over. In other breaking news, and that is because we love these folks over at Between Rounds. This is really Reese on the radio breaking news story. So I get this text message, and it says, were your ears ringing? Jerry from Between Rounds wants to know that he loves you and loves the show. And I said, back at you. Jerry, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And so I said, let's get that Reese's peanut butter and jelly sandwich popping. And this is the response I got. He's thinking about it. That's all I need.
Shit.
That's all I need. Okay? I don't care if he doesn't do it. He's thinking about it. It's like being nominated for an Oscar, which, by the way, we'll talk about that at 5:35. Can we say Pretty Woman finally won an Oscar? Anyway, we'll get into that in a minute. I did not watch the Oscars. I haven't watched them in years. So there's a possibility that Between Rounds will have a Reese on the radio peanut butter and jelly bagel. It's possible. They're thinking about it. That's just like being nominated, Mark Christopher, in the BPS Traffic Center. You couldn't get better than that. They're considering it.
No, you never know.
Yeah, we can. I can have an official sandwich. I mean, that's almost. I don't know what it is, but it's almost better than winning an award.
Yes.
To
that's
me.
True.
So
I, know,
I
because
can
the
encourage
sandwich, You
people.
can enjoy it over and over again. And an award's an award, you know? It's
Yeah.
just like, okay.
Exactly. It's just like, hey, you want to have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Just let me get the Reese on the radio. You couldn't get better than that. I'm sorry. I'm too excited. Okay, I'm moving on.
That's okay. We love excitement here. We love the excitement. If you're heading into Hartford right now, westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkhead Bridge in East Hartford, out to 45 Flatbush Avenue, 84 eastbound, just losing a little speed, 48 Capitol Avenue into the tunnel. Southbound 91, once again, just a brief slowdown by 33 Jennings Road. Quiet northbound 91, Cromwell up into Winter, 291 through 84, okay, 2 eastbound, moving well Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 southbound, a little slow approaching the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound, you'll see some slow traffic approaching 34 in New Britain. Westbound 84, Waterbury, some tight traffic approaching the Mixmaster. South 95, New Haven, slowing 46 to 43 in West Haven. And if you're traveling into Cromwell right now, Route 99 is shut down at Evergreen Road because of a crash, a car versus utility pole accident there. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A partly cloudy, cold tonight, the low down to 24. Milder Tuesday, though, with a mix of clouds and sun, the high up to 48. Wednesday, increasingly windy, periods of rain and a thunderstorm. Some of the winds with those could be locally damaging, the high of 54. Thursday, some sun, a shower or two, mild and breezy, the high of 57. Currently, right now, it is 34 in Bristol, 36 in Granby, 34 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
For quality vinyl siding, the Peter L. Brown Company is your best choice. Let us show you the difference a beautifully installed Peter L. Brown vinyl siding job can make. Please visit peterlbrown.com for roofing, siding, windows, and doors.
Want $125 free heating oil to save on heating costs this winter? Go with your local HVAC pros. Go with Petro. Petro has a great deal on a new heating system with $0 down and low monthly payments. Go to petro.com now or call 1-888-PETRO02.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Ben, this is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and you've heard me talk a lot about how treating low testosterone can improve your sleep, your workouts, your energy levels, and more. But today I want to talk about your sex drive, because low testosterone can have a significant impact on your desire for intimacy. It can even be a factor in erectile dysfunction, and if you're in a relationship or wanting to be in a relationship, a low sex drive could really be a problem. The good news is that if you're like most guys, treating a low T could really change the way you feel about sex, giving you back that flame and desire that is so important when you love someone. So if you're feeling sluggish and tired, if you're not sleeping well, if your workouts aren't that great, and most of all, if your sex drive is more like a putt, make an appointment at Northeast Men's Health and have your testosterone levels checked. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices in the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Are you having trouble hearing?
1 minute.
It's the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices. Just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7. And we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading.
Get rid of that.
Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Reese on the radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drop it.
We're back. News Talk 1080 WTIC. I want to get to one phone call real quick because he's been on for a while. Adam is in East Hartford. How are you? How are we doing, Adam?
Hey, Reese. Thanks for always taking my call. And hello to Elena from Newington and also to Phyllis from Weathersfield. But go ahead. Hey, what I called about when you had the lady police officer on.
Jill Kiddick.
I remember the story, and it's a tragedy. Here you have a wonderful police officer, and she's trying to help people, and has to suffer that. Somebody almost trying to kill her in a violent and gross way, you know?
Yeah. I don't even know. Like I said, I don't. By God's grace, you know, I mean, all of us. And she's here to live another day, you know, and tell her story. She should be a cautionary tale for the people in the mental health industry, you know, for lack of a better term. And they should consider that when they're dealing with this Tyree Smith individual. But I don't think they care because I don't think anybody's going to hold them to account.
That guy should never have been let out, and you were right. The Biden should never let out the
the young man who shot and killed the mother and child. It's just I don't know. It's just where we are. Sometimes I say to myself, like, what's the use? But I'm like, you know what? I can't. I refuse to give up. I can't give up or can't give in. I can't. I'm done with it. I'm sick and tired of bullies, and I'm sick and tired of people not caring at this point. So that's where I am. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it, sir. All right, let me go into this real quick because Mike called last week, and you guys might remember that phone call in talking about the Zelensky issue. And it's all anyone can talk about. People are treating it like, oh, my goodness. Did you see what happened in the Oval Office with Trump and Zelensky and J.D. Vance? Oh, my goodness. And, of course, I'm sitting by and I'm watching it, and I'm just going, what? The dude got smacked around a little bit. He walked in there trying to be a tough guy, playing the victim and a tough guy at the same time. Vladimir Putin, he kill it, he kill it, he kill it, he terrorist, he kill it, kill it, kill it. And they're like, okay, yeah, well, we get the whole he's a killer thing, but what are you going to do in order to end this war? He's killer. What do you mean diplomacy? Yeah, what do you think all of this is, bozo? What do you think you came here for? You flew all the way here to sign an agreement. But little did we find out, old Chris Murphy had his hands in there. Doesn't want there to be peace. I wonder why. Wants to see more money go to this war, more weaponry go to the war, have the war go on, more and more people being killed. Hey, Chris, have you seen the videos of young men in Kyiv being dragged into vans by military likes, being dragged off the street, forcibly put inside vans so they could join the military because they can't recruit? This war is so just, they can't even get their own citizens to commit on their own. They don't even have a volunteer force. They have to be dragged off the street. Have you seen the videos? I have. I'm sure you have too. The war needs to come to an end. And the rest of you bozos out there, as I said on my Sunday show, with the, I stand with Ukraine, shut up. Shut up. You don't know what you stand for. You have no clue. You're an MSNBC robot. You do exactly what Rachel Maddow tells you to do. You are outraged at the same thing that she and her little sister, Chris Hayes, are upset about. You still don't know why. But Mike was on the show, and he was talking about Europe. Have you heard what they said in Europe? What they're saying about Donald Trump? Yes, Mike, I am listening to Europe. In fact, I'm listening to Matthew Goodwin of the GB News on the BBC this weekend.
I was looking around social media today, and it struck me that a lot of people who like to start wars are suddenly very angry with one guy who wants to stop this war. And there are people who have taken us into one disaster after another, war in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Libya, who have spent much of today on social media attacking Trump. What we're seeing, I think, is a reset of geopolitics, a reset. We're seeing the breakdown of what you might call the international liberal world order, which saw 20, 30 years of one foreign policy disaster after another. And Trump, you know, I was at the inauguration in America, and people around the president, are basically saying, they've had enough of that constant interventionism. They've had enough of Europe, by the way, again, maybe a controversial point, but Europe not paying its way on defense. And they've looked to Germany, they've looked to France, they've looked to Italy, they've looked to the UK, and they said, what are you guys doing? Take Germany as an example. Germany under the Greens, absolutely bonkers, becoming more dependent upon Russia because of its ridiculous energy policy, becoming more dependent upon China, and then turning around and criticizing Donald Trump when he says we've got to end this war. I mean, I'm sorry, it doesn't make sense anymore. There are two things that need to happen. One is Ukraine obviously needs to be involved in the negotiated settlement. That's obvious. But the second key point is this now has to be a line in the sand. After this negotiated settlement, Europe is going to have to pay to defend itself. We cannot just rely on America, because understandably they're saying, look, we've got China. We've got our problems on the border. We've got to revitalize our economy. So I think for everybody who sat there criticizing Donald Trump, I do think we need to look at ourselves in the mirror and think, actually, are we getting this right here in Europe?
The audience went on to applaud the hell out of him. After that, Mike, what about Europe? What's Europe saying? That's what Europe's saying. And you know what? Just for good measure, let's go to your lauded NBC News, real liberal NBC News. They had this report about Joe Biden talking to Zelensky about sending him $1 billion in aid to fight this war.
NBC News has new exclusive reporting about a phone call that happened between President Biden and the Ukrainian president back in June. What do we know about that conversation, Courtney?
Yeah, that's right, Kate. So in this conversation, President Biden called President Zelensky to tell him about a roughly $1 billion package of additional equipment and weapons for the Ukrainian military coming from the United States. During the course of the call, President Zelensky continued, according to a number of officials who we spoke with who are familiar with the call, President Zelensky continued to talk about the additional equipment and weapons and support that he and his military needed. According to these officials, they said that President Biden finally just got frustrated and lost his temper and told President Zelensky, look, you could be a little bit more grateful. The reason that this story is interesting to us and is something that we are reporting on and officials were speaking to us about is because it shows that all these months ago, President Biden already realized that there was going to be a point where the American people, members of Congress, where people would start potentially pushing back on all these billions and billions of dollars of aid and equipment that the U.S. has been providing to Ukraine. And he knew that the narrative out there needed to be that the Ukrainian people and President Zelensky were grateful for.
Does that sound like J.D. Vance when he told Zelensky, have you once said thank you? No. Here's why. Because someone was blowing Zelensky up, Chris Murphy. They were blowing up his ego, Chris Murphy, and telling him, oh, we're with you. You're Churchill. You could do no wrong. Keep asking for aid, Dick Blumenthal. These people were telling him, don't worry, the American people are behind you no matter what, because if they don't stand behind you, we'll call them Putin apologists. So this guy's got several little batteries on his back by the likes of Chris Murphy and Dick Blumenthal, saying, don't even sign this deal. Just ignore him. This is stupid. It only means that Russia's going to want more. I got people who are on my Facebook page saying, Putin, he wants to take more and more of Europe. Where's your evidence of that? Where's your evidence of that? Clearly not understanding what's going on. Anybody ever talk about the expansion of NATO eastward? Anyone? Anyone tell you about the Black Sea? Anyone? Anyone tell you about 1994? Anybody tell you about 2008? Anybody tell you why Crimea started? Do you know? That was in 2014. If you don't know, please stop talking. Stop posting on Facebook. If you don't know any of those things I just mentioned, if you don't even know what they are as a reference, and this audience does, let me make that very clear. This audience knows exactly what I'm talking about. And those who don't, listen to this program so that they do. There is an expansionism in NATO that is going on the border of Russia, and Russia's not having it. Why? Because in the 90s, it was told it would never happen under Bill Clinton, and they did it anyway. And as early as Anthony Blinken bringing missiles into Ukraine, when Putin said you cannot do it, Blinken's response was the United States will do whatever the hell it wants. And that's why the war broke out. That's all you need to know. This audience is smart enough to know it. And you don't have to be a Putin apologist to admit that. You just have to know the facts. Any bozo who calls you a Putin apologist because of those facts obviously doesn't know what they're talking about, or they're an idiot. There are no two ways about it. Do you understand that? And let me make one thing abundantly clear to those who are on the left who listen to this show, and I know you do. We don't lie here. We're not interested in your political correctness. We are not interested in your MSNBC talking point. We don't care that you listen to Rachel Maddow and you're an elitist snob. We don't care. Here, we eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and talk about hip-hop and other really, really silly music and entertainment stuff. And at the same time, we break down the issues and the stories that matter most. That's what we do here on this program. If you want to lie and BS yourself, and you want to kid yourself, and you want to live in a political, correct world, that's what NPR is for. So go over there and go listen to that boring crap down the dial. We won't miss you. You can go do that nonsense there. Nobody cares about your opinion here. But if you want to have a real conversation about the facts, the telephone number is 860-522-WTIC. You know it. The telephone number is 860-522-9842. You can get on the phone and you can call here. But you won't. You won't. Why? Because you're scared to. We don't come here. I'm not some novice. I'm not some hip-hop guy from Hollis, Queens, who doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm not the, Charlemagne the God pretending they know about politics and geopolitical stories around the country. I do my homework. That's what we do here. It's a very, very good show, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
And I should know because I'm nominated as Best in Hartford. That's why. They spelled my name wrong, but what the hell? Who's listening to that? Who cares? They know it's Reese. I say that because, please, do not vote for me. Please don't vote for me. I'm sorry, don't vote for me. I should have never mentioned that. People are going to vote for me now. By the way, did you, Roland, did you hear about Brian Shackman got the Hartford Courant to, because apparently he was on there twice. Did you hear about that?
I did not.
No, Brian Shackman is on the list twice. I think it's Brian and Company and Brian Shackman. And I think he told them, I guess so they wouldn't split the vote. So I guess they fixed it so that it's just Brian and Company, or maybe it's just Brian Shackman. But nonetheless, they fixed it so it's not two entries. And I have to commend Brian for doing that, because he could have got double billing. But I commend him for doing that. Actually, we'll ask Mark Christopher about that in a minute. But they fixed it. But somebody mentioned on Twitter, they said, I wonder if they'll fix Reese's now. I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. They're not going to fix it. That's okay. I don't mind. Again, it's like the sandwich at between rounds. It's nice to be considered. It is. It's nice to be somebody's thinking of me. It's nice to be thought of. We used to have this. I remember somebody said it to me not too long ago, and I said, I think those people are talking about me. And he turned around and looked at me and he says, "You'd be surprised at how little people think of you." And I thought about that for a while, because he just said it out of nowhere. He says, "You'd be surprised at how little people think of you." And I didn't get it until later. What he was saying was, people aren't thinking of you. I thought it was pretty clever. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, before we go there, I just want to grab you in early. So is it Brian and Company that's on the Best of Hartford list, or is it just Brian Shackman now? Do you know if it's been updated?
Oh, it was Brian and Company. Maybe they did update it.
Yeah,
I'm not
because
sure.
there were two. It was Brian Shackman and Brian and Company.
And Brian and Company, yeah.
Yeah, but I heard through the grapevine that they switched it to just put one. So do you know if it's just Brian Shackman or if it's Brian and Company?
I don't know. What is that? Is that Hartford Current?
Yeah, Hartford Current.
Hartford Current?
Yeah.
Maybe I can look it up.
You
is
should
Reese
be on
there?
there. It's funny. Yeah, I'm on there, but it's spelled as a
No, they didn't spell it right.
R-E-E-C-E.
And then there was like 3 or 4 people who aren't even in radio anymore.
Yeah, that's
on the
true.
list.
Well, somebody just said that you were why aren't you voted as best traffic guy? You should at least be
I don't
in
know
there.
if they have that category. I don't know.
There's got to be. Well, how many traffic guys are there?
In this market, not many, maybe 3.
What the hell? You got 3 people. Even if you don't win, at least you come in second place. I don't think you'll come in third, man. I was thinking that's what I was thinking. Maybe I don't want to be because if I come in third, my fragile ego will just. I'm with you on that one, buddy.
Yeah, I might not be able to come back if I come in third. The exotic emotional damage. You're exactly right.
Right.
You're exactly right. Oh gosh! If you're heading into Hartford right now, westbound 84 is slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge, out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound is slowing from exit 48 Capitol Avenue into the tunnel. Southbound 91 slowing at 33 Jennings Road. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291, 384, that's okay east of the river. 2 eastbound moving Glastonbury into Marlboro. If you're heading into Middletown, you're okay. 9 in the Aragodi Bridge. Looks like we have an accident now up by exit 24 in New Britain on 9 northbound. You've got delays back to exit 33 behind that, or 32 behind that. If you're heading into Waterbury, westbound 94, a little tight from exit 22 up to the Mixmaster. And down into New Haven, South 95, you're going to see delays from exit 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Southbound Parkway, some slow traffic as you move from exit 60 down toward the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 5:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News, the WTIC Weather Center forecast. For tonight, we'll have partly cloudy skies with lows in the 20s. Turns milder tomorrow with a mix of clouds and sun, upper 40s. And then Wednesday, got a chance for some rain in here, maybe even a thunderstorm, as we see temperatures rise into the 50s. It is currently clear and 34 degrees in Hartford. Mystic Aquarium says the seal pup that was found last month on the streets of New Haven has died. Chappie was being treated there since he was found by New Haven police February 16th. Aquarium officials say the seal initially responded well to treatment but suffered gastrointestinal problems once he transferred back onto solid food. Governor Lamont vetoing parts of the legislation that had earmarked $40 million towards special education. Package passed last week in the General Assembly also had money for Planned Parenthood and LGBTQ groups. Lamont expressing concern about money for additional spending during this budget cycle. Cheshire police say a teenager is dead following a crash late Sunday night. They say 18-year-old Max Tello died when the vehicle he was driving crashed and caught fire at Wolf Hill Road near the intersection of Blacks Road. The crash is under investigation. Man is under arrest after state police say he was clocked driving over 100 miles an hour on I-91 Sunday afternoon. Shoaib Nouri of Meriden is charged. Troopers say they noticed the BMW traveling much faster than the flow of traffic near northbound exit 24 in Rocky Hill. Police say Nouri took off after he was stopped initially. He faces a host of charges, including reckless endangerment. State representatives have been suspended from committee and leadership assignments following his arrest over the weekend on DUI charges. Groton Democrat Andre Baumgardner arrested early Sunday morning near the Gold Star Highway. He said in a statement he takes responsibility for his actions. Federal workers have been rallying across the country, denouncing the mass layoffs that have come as the Department of Government Efficiency looks to shrink the size of the federal workforce. In West Haven, scores turned out today to protest outside the VA hospital. That department has shed 1,000 workers. And checking Wall Street, a down day as President Trump announced that the tariffs against Mexico, Canada, and China will go into effect tomorrow. Dow shed over 600 points today. NASDAQ was down nearly 500 and the S&P down 104. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
1 minute.
Trusted Pro.
Thank
Gutters
you.
are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/rain to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/rain. That's leaffilter.com/rain.
Hi, this is WTIC News Talk 1080 Operations Manager Steve Salhaney. Happy birthday, WTIC News Talk 1080.
When has he ever sounded that monotone ever, Steve Salhaney? His personality is way above that. Somebody must have told him, hey, Steve, calm it down. Bring it down a lot. Bring it down about 5, 7, maybe 12. Steve he's a much more exciting guy. Steve, if you hear my voice, you got to cut another one of those, okay? I need to hear your real voice. Steve doesn't sound like that. Salhaney's an excitable guy. Not like over the top, right? Anything like that. Not embarrassing. Like, who brought that guy?
That was professional Steve. That wasn't Salhaney.
Is that what it was? That was professional Steve? Steve, you got to cut that with a little more zest, man. Like, more you. I totally love that. Let's go to the phones. Well, actually, I don't have time to get to the phones. Okay, we will. We'll get to the phones after the break. We got to still check traffic. When we do, I'm waiting on an email that is coming from somebody at one of the news networks. There are 3 stories. This may have to wait until tomorrow for me to talk about the story. So here's what I'm going to say. Everybody, make sure you tune in tomorrow, opening monologue. I am going to reveal to you a story that you should know. You probably remember, and it was only 2 years ago. I am working diligently to speak to the person who covered the story. I'm working on that. I hope that I can get something as early as today, if not tomorrow before the show, to give you the details, because this story inside the Hartford schools is an important one, and I'm never going to let this one go. This is dog with a bone type stuff to get to the bottom of this. And if we do, and I think that it's definitely on its way with the people who are talking to me and communicating with me right now, that this is something that everyone knows is of dire importance. This is not a fly-by-night or drive-by news, as Limbaugh used to call it. This is a story for the ages in the city of Hartford, if not the state of Connecticut. So I promise you, we're going to get to the bottom of it. I'm just letting you know, whoever sent me the email, I didn't get it yet. It says it's sent, but maybe it's a big file, but I'm waiting on it. All right? And like I said, I'm working on it tomorrow, opening monologue. I'll tell you the details as soon as I get the story. Now, let's get another check of your traffic and weather. Jason Catarinas is in the Weather Center, and Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading on the westbound side of 84, a little slowdown in East Hartford, approaching the Bulky Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. Eastbound 84, just losing a little speed, 48 Capitol Avenue into the tunnel. Slight slowdown in 91 southbound in Hartford at 33. Northbound 91, that's a good ride. Cromwell through downtown up into the Windsor exits. 291, 384, okay, east of the river. If you're traveling to eastbound, that looks good from East Hartford out into the Glastonbury and Marlboro exits. Now, if you are traveling on the northbound side of Route 9, look out for an accident up by exit 34. New Britain delays back to 32 in Berlin. Behind that, westbound 84 in Waterbury slowing 23 into the Mixmaster. If you're heading into New Haven, South 95 slows 46 down to 43. Southbound on the Parkway delays 61 down in toward the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8s, WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Oh, partly cloudy and cold tonight. The low down to 24. A mix of clouds and sun Tuesday. A milder day, though. The high moving up to 49. We'll ride that warming trend into Wednesday, but it's going to be an active day. Increasingly windy with periods of rain and a thunderstorm. Winds could be locally damaging. The high of 56. Thursday, some sun, but still a shower or two as well. Still breezy as well with the high of 57 for us on Thursday. Right now, it's 30 in Waterbury, 36 in New Haven, 34 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Concerned about your gums? Columbia Dental's expert periodontists specialize in treating all gum conditions, helping you achieve a healthy, confident smile. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
We promise fast, friendly, reliable service. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Dream it, design it, do it. The Connecticut Home and Remodeling Show is back March 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Connecticut Convention Center. From fresh trends to smart solutions, find everything to transform your home. Step inside, get inspired, and watch your vision take shape. Get your tickets now at cthomeshow.com.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. For over 3 decades, Cordell & Cordell has been on the front lines of family law. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Hartford area attorneys. Phyllis McCutcheon, licensed in Connecticut. Online at cordellcordell.com.
If your air conditioner and furnace are over 10 years old, they've pretty much gone to the dogs. But at Ayala Home Services, we can fetch you a free furnace with our 2-for deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a new air conditioning system, you receive a free furnace. We also offer free, no-obligation estimates for these new systems. Call, click, or text and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P1027768A, D1040145, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Jackson Hewitt wants you to... 1 minute. We're saving money by having our intern rap in this commercial.
Don't stress, Jackson Hewitt's got expert tax prep 149 or less. Yo, some tax guys lie about price. What? They got hidden fees, that ain't nice. Ain't nice. Don't ignore MC Kevin's rhyme, cause this deal's for a limited time. 149.
For tax prep that's $149 or less, hurry into Jackson Hewitt today.
No cap.
Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our USB... You've switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is. You know who it is.
It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, listen, this is important. If you have not won an opportunity to get a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, you got to get on the phone right now. That number is 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842 for the last but not least caller of the day. And I know a lot of you out there, you guys listen, but you don't call, but here's your opportunity to win. Because I'm going to get rid of these three guys, and, they're regulars on here all the time, so they don't win. They call in because, they want to be they're part of the show. But if you want to win, you got to call now. So I'll go through them and get on the phones, and the quicker we go through it, this is what we call the lightning round at the end of the show, where I go through as many calls as I possibly can, as fast as I possibly can, and I get to the last but not least caller of the day. So make sure you do. 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Corey in Meriden. Hello, Corey.
Hey, man, it's a shout-out to Between Rounds, man. I hope they go through with that peanut butter and jelly, man.
No doubt. Thank you, man. I totally appreciate it. That's all. You know what? That's all you need to do. Give them a holler and say, hey, let's get the Reese's peanut butter and jelly sandwich going. So, or let's just call it the Reese on the Radio sandwich. That's all.
It will taste the best ever.
I bet you it will. Corey, I know you got something else. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, man. Hey, on this little stuff down in New Haven here today, these no employees, how are you protesting here? We'll just shoot through the callers here real quick here.
Yeah.
So no employees protesting outside of a VA makes no sense.
I don't. Exactly.
That's a check in the block.
Exactly. Exactly.
Then you have Ned crying about a budget issue over $40 million. What is our budget annually in the state of Connecticut? How many billions?
Yeah. How about the $1.3 billion? How about the $1.3 billion that's now being reported spent on illegals in the state?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Number three. The audio you put through this weekend, brother, a lot of people saw it, man. I won't get into the details on that. What I'm saying, man, a lot of people heard it, and a lot of people want results on it. That is a heartfelt to you.
Thank you, man. Much appreciated. I know you're talking about that was the post that is on Facebook and on Twitter, right?
That is what I'm talking about, and I'm going to end the discussion on that, brother. A lot of people heard it, and a lot of people are – I don't think they've I don't think I could even put into words. They're sinking into this.
Yeah.
More than anything, and please keep hitting on it.
Thank you, sir.
That's about all I have to say today.
Thank you, Corey. Much appreciated, sir. Let's go to my good friend Matt in Bristol. Hello, sir.
Hello, Mr. Hopkins. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good, sir. What's up?
Quick shout out. My mom had an alarm go off today at her church, and the Pleasant Valley Fire Department was there in minutes. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to them.
Okay, no doubt. How's she? Everybody okay?
Yeah, everyone's fine. It was just a water pipe, but you never know.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I was just calling about the difference between liberal radio and conservative radio is you don't mind if we call up and disagree with you. We don't always agree. I agree with you most of the time, but not always. And I've called up and disagree with you. And it's okay on conservative radio. On liberal radio, you have to be 100% all the time. Otherwise, you're a traitor.
Yes, indeed. You're 100% right. But see, that's my deal. And I, I communicate with these people often. I mean, can I sort of brag a little bit here, Matt? If I may, I'm going to brag a little bit. And I don't really like to do this, but this one I gotta brag. I've been married 4 times. Okay? Every one of those women that I met, they were all liberals when I met them. They all became conservatives, all of them, after they met me. Okay? So, and we're talking about my last ex-wife, Mary, who's been on this show, she voted for Obama in 2008 and voted for Mitt Romney in 2012. Okay? And that was the year we got together.
Were they die-in-the-wool liberals?
Yeah, all her life, liberal. Remember, we got together, we're married on July 10th, 2012. By November of that year, she was voting for Mitt Romney, having voted for Barack Obama, and she's Irish. Yeah. So when I tell you I put the work in, that's the reason why liberals are afraid of me. Because by the time it's over, they'll be voting for J.D. Vance.
Well, common sense always does have a way of winning out.
Yeah,
eventually.
That's true. And the beauty of it is if they listen to me, they'll vote for a Republican and they don't have to marry me.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, boss man. I appreciate you. Let's go to Andrew, who's in New Britain. How are you, Andrew?
Doing great, Reese. Thank you. I got two quick things for you. Donald Trump is being accused of killing trees in the inner city, destroying trees, because some funds are being suspended for it. I don't know about Donald Trump, but I can tell you who is killing trees.
Yeah.
Chainsaw Ned Lamont. Ned Lamont, the lumberjack, okay, is out there cutting down trees all around his place in the wetlands, okay?
In the wetlands?
Yeah, you remember he cut down
That's right.
over 100 trees. Yeah. And then 300 shrubs, and he got a whopping fine. He had to pay a $1,000 fine.
Oh, goodness gracious.
This is a guy who copped to making $1 million a week.
Wait.
Okay?
He paid a $1,000 fine. I guess somebody didn't have dessert with lunch.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like chiclets for him.
Yeah.
The other reason I called, I've got a modest proposal.
Sure.
I'm offering the Pierre Luigi's law or the Bugatti's law. Who's Pierre Luigi Bugatti? He's the guy that was paid by the state of Connecticut for 8 months while he was dead. Okay. He died in July 2023. And it wasn't, nobody bothered to check if the guy was alive, and he was getting paid and cashing his checks until February of 2024. 8 months.
Wait. He was cashing his checks? Is there a check cashing place in hell?
Apparently. I think it has something to do with Mrs. Bugatti, who, he must have made a bad comment about her pork chops, or she burned a toast or something, because she clocked him. So my proposal is we need the Pierre Luigi law, okay, which means that if you're a state employee, you have to check in, either in writing or by email. And and tell and disclose 5 things you worked on that week. If only for the proof of life.
Hey, you know what? You're 100% right, because I got to go online to Odyssey every 2 weeks. I got to put in my time clock. I got to do it.
Exactly. If you don't put in, you don't get a check. That's it.
Damn right, because they'll tell you too. And it was like, hey, did you put your time in? I'm like, no. It's like, see you next week. Thank you, buddy. You got it. Thank you, sir. Let's go to Chris, who's in Berlin. How are you, Chris?
Hi, it's Chrissy. How are you?
Hey, Chrissy. Hey, I'm sorry. How are you?
I'm great. I tried to get a hold of you on Friday because I had a grievance and it's still bothering me today.
Well, why not? Since you're late and it's Monday, why not? You can take out your grievance today. What's going on?
When you go to the deli and you order sandwich meat, why do they put the tape over the sliding thing to open the bag? My bags rip all the time.
Oh, you mean that's right. They put, if it's a zipper bag, they put a tape over the zipper. And then when you go to take the tape off, it rips the bag.
Yes.
I didn't even think of that.
Use scissors.
Yeah, was that you got to use scissors? Well, yeah, nobody wants to do that. If the bag is zippered, there's no reason to put the tape. You know what I think that is? I think that's muscle memory, Chris. That's what I think it is.
Maybe.
I think it's muscle memory.
Using scissors when they're making a sandwich.
I think that's what it is. I think that if you've been trained to use that, even if you use the new bag, your brain is telling you just put the tape on because that's the process. It's sort of like working at a power plant, or working at a manufacturer. You just do that as muscle memory. But you're right. You know what you should do? Because I do this all the time if I go to like a Subway or some place to go get a hoagie. They instinctively cut the foot long in half. They just do it. And so now I have to remind myself to say to them, hey, don't cut the sandwich in half. And you'll catch them mid-slice. They'll be like, no. I mean, no. You almost feel like you took them out of their rhythm, the way that they respond. So that's what you need to do. If you see them doing it, tell them, no need for the tape. And they might they might get depressed at you, Chrissy, and it was just like, no, I want to put the tape on.
I know. I don't want to give them a bad day, though.
Oh, fussy customers. How dare they want customer service? God bless you, Chrissy.
Yeah, have a good one.
You too. Let's go to Tony, who's in Farmington, who is our last but not least caller of the day. You got it, Tony.
Hey, listen, I don't know. You don't have them cut the grinder. I usually have them cut it into 3 pieces. I just
Oh, you do?
It's easier to eat, and maybe you can save a third of it for a little later.
That's a smart move, but I'll tell you why it doesn't work for me, Tony, because I'm kind of a glutton. Even though, that's the reason why I tell them don't cut it in half, because I'll eat the whole hoagie. I'll finish the whole thing. I don't know why.
Well, I'll admit, I usually end up eating both pieces or all 3 pieces if they cut it that way. But the reason I called is, have you heard any more, or have you talked any more about the alleged bomb threat to our Attorney General Tong?
No, I'm so glad you asked about that. So it's interesting, and I say this all the time about these investigations. There's a fervor in which it's reported that it happened, and the follow-up almost becomes non-existent. And that's the case here in Connecticut. As you've known, there's a pattern. Rom High School, the Cromwell High School incident with the 2 black girls, and the racial assaults in those schools. There's never any follow-up. The young lady at the grocery store who was told to go home because the coloring in her hair. Not only is there never any follow-up, but there seems to be no interest in a follow-up. The headline is the important story, and then nobody follows up on that story to at least ask, hey, what did your investigation find? Remember, this is Connecticut. If somebody called in a bomb threat to Attorney General Tong's home, you can damn well bet it's like a police officer being assaulted in any other town. Everybody puts their nose to the ground to find out who that son of a gun is. So the fact that there has been no follow-up, even a follow-up to suggest we still have no leads, is interesting to me.
Yeah, I was very skeptical about the truth of that story, even before you mentioned that you were skeptical.
Yeah, I couldn't help it because, like I said, this is not that kind of town. And these accusations, look, do we have some radicals on the right? Sure we do. But often enough, and everybody knows it, we've seen these hoaxes over and over again. Somebody inventing the hoax because they wish for better PR for said individual. So you can have some empathy and compassion for the person that they pulled the hoax off on, right? That's supposed to pull at your heartstrings and say, see, he's doing the good work and people are trying to hurt him. And I'm like, I see that story and I go, yeah, I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. It's too clean.
Yeah, I had the exact same thought as you did on that.
Yeah, I appreciate you, sir. Let's put you on hold. And again, let's congratulate Tony, who has won a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of our friends and soon-to-be sandwich-making history. Friends over at Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe in South Windsor, Manchester, and Vernon. And look, if you go down to Between Rounds, don't harass them. Just say, hey, how you guys coming along with that Reese on the Radio sandwich? Just ask. Just say, hey, you guys, I heard there might be a Reese on the Radio sandwich. Any word on that? They'll probably tell you, yeah, we're thinking about it. And then let me know. Just make sure you call me or send me an email at reesonradio.com and say, hey, I asked about your sandwich. And by the way, we haven't decided on what it is, but I have figured out what it should be. And Roland is going to boo it. And I already understand that Jason Caterina is not a fan. So we've considered the booing from those 2 individuals. And we're just going to have it as Reese's peanut butter and jelly on a bagel. I would prefer a plain bagel, but you can have it on any bagel, but that's it. Just peanut butter and jelly. So all we're doing is just calling it the Reese on the Radio peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Plain toasted butter bagel.
Okay, plain toasted? I don't know if it should be toasted, but if you want to toast
toasted.
Okay, fine, toast it if you want to. But that's all. We're just going to make it peanut butter, but it's got to be Reese's peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So it's Reese on the radio, Reese's peanut butter and jelly on a bagel. That's the Reese on the radio sandwich. That's what we'll call it. Speaking of Jason Caterina, he's coming up with weather, but not before our good friend Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Traffic Center. And let me say, before I leave, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good day, pleasant tomorrow. Don't forget, opening monologue tomorrow. I'll have the details of this story about the news network who tanked the story involving children who were assaulted in Hartford schools. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, Mark. See you tomorrow.
And vote for Reese on the Best of the Hartford Current.
Don't
Best
listen
of
to that man.
2025. He's up on the category under people in the subcategory of radio.
Yes.
So vote for Reese. You can vote for Brian Shackman for Brian and Company in the morning, too. So let's get those votes in. All right. Have a great night, Reese. If you
Thank
are
you,
heading into Hartford right now, westbound 84 is slowing.
All right.
Out to
All
45
right.
Flatbush
I
Avenue.
think I got my.
Eastbound 84
Did I
wide
get it
open,
yet?
Farmington
No,
and Vernon.
no
Both
one
sides of
sent it.
91 moving very
Okay,
well.
we'll see what happens.
As you move from
Anyway,
Buffalo
all right,
up
I will see you
into Windsor
manana.
Locks.
See you tomorrow,
All
sir.
right, buddy. Thank you, buddy.
Enjoy your night.
Thank you, man.
Tell
You
Stephanie
too.
I said what's up.
Waterbury looking good 84.8.
I'm going to have to do that on the down low.
Parkway
Goodbye.
60 toward the West Rock Tunnel.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, toasted with sliced banana sounds good. Zach, maybe. I'm going to try that too. I've never had peanut butter and jelly with banana. I'm kidding you. I've never had it. In fact, I want to say it was, which was the children's show that had Spider-Man? Was that the Electric Company? And a Spider-Man episode on the Electric Company, there was an episode that had peanut butter and banana slices on a sandwich. I'm almost positive. I have to look it up. Carmelo says, I can't help but wonder if the woman hadn't gotten fired, would she ever tell anyone? Carmela, it is a great question, and I'm going to be speaking to her, or at least I hope, in a little bit. It's a great question. It's a very, I'm not going to lie, it's very good. Zach says, okay, the sandwich is very good. I'm going to try it. All right. I love you guys. Y'all be good. I will see you tomorrow. It's probably going to be more news. Thanks.